We decided that one thing that was really lacking was medical care for teenagers. They just kind of fell through the cracks. So with the help of Southern Nevada Health District and some people in the know in the medical field, we put together a clinic, a medical clinic for teenagers ages 12 to 18. And we opened a medical clinic on our property in the building across the parking lot.
Right.
We, at that time, that building was a medical office building, and one of the
Did you buy
doctors,
it? Did your congregation buy it?
we did end up buying it, and one of the guys, in fact, we had just bought it. We had bought it before we did the clinic, and now we were trying to do things to serve in the building, social concerns. So to meet social
How
needs.
many kids get served there, get dental work or medical checkups and whatever a month or a year? How many patients you serve a year?
I just was reading some statistics. I think we saw 200 kids last year in the dental portion.
Okay.
We opened the medical clinic, and
So that's really only one a working day. It's not, you're not banging out a lot.
no. But we do full operative work. We restore mouths, and now we have gone as far as our dental clinic. We're in partnership with the School of Dentistry. Through
And
the
that's where
university.
that's where you get practitioners.
That's where we get our dentists. Besides the dentists volunteering from the community, but most of the dentists.
Do you need more?
Yes.
So if a dentist was watching this and they were thinking about serving, this might be an appropriate place for them
Yes,
to.
indeed.
And you'd take, if they wanted to offer you 2 hours a month, you'd be grateful for that.
Yes. Yes, indeed. And our medical clinic is run by nurse practitioners. And but we also we always we're always needing help. We began in one suite over in the south property is what we refer to this property over here, the south property. We began with one suite, but then the dental clinic needed so much more space that we began to rent another suite. So now we have 2 suites, one designated for medical and one designated for dental, and it's a wonderful.
Where does the money come for that one?
We get grants
From
the state. We get let's see, mostly grants from the state of Nevada.
who does your grant writing?
We have a director a guy by the name of Steve Williams who
He's on Christ Church staff.
No, we are a nonprofit. We separate in all of our
Work.
In all of our work, we have separated ourselves from the church and have become nonprofit organizations with
501c3.
501c3s.
So if somebody wanted to give you money, it's 100% tax deductible.
Yes, it is.
And they're not giving money to the Episcopal Church.
That's right. They're giving money to the individual group.
You said in what you wrote to me that a large part of your job, you personally, is to empower your church to meet the needs of these various organizations.
As a deacon,
As a deacon. So what specifically do you do to empower the church to meet those needs?
people refer to me as a nag.
I could see you would be a good one of those.
And as needs come about, I share with my congregation why it's so important to meet this need. Here at Christ Church, we run a food pantry. We're open 5 days a week.
And do you, so let's say I walked up. I'm clearly not someone who's hungry, as you can see. And if I just walked up and I said, you know, and I said, may I have some food, please? You wouldn't say, let's do a needs test. You just hand me some food.
That's what we would like to do. However, we do work on referrals from other social agencies in town.
So
However,
so the people have been means tested at the other agency.
yeah. However, if you come to our door and you're hungry and you don't have a referral, we don't send you away. But it was probably in 1987 that as a deacon, I was ordained in 1982, and during that period of time, we would see more and more people come into the church who really needed assistance, emergency assistance or food. And so one day I said to our what we call in the Episcopal Church our rector, the head of our congregation, why don't we open a food pantry? And he said, well, that's a good idea, so go and ask the vestry. And the vestry in the Episcopal Church is the governing body. So I went to the vestry and I asked them about opening a food pantry on campus. And of course they just laughed and said, why in the world do you want to do that? And I said, because we're called to meet the needs of those who have nothing.
Would you say that you've gotten a lot of resistance from other Christians when you say, if we're really Christian,
Yes.
it doesn't mean just praising the heck out of God.
Yes.
It means serving the least of these.
We're Christians. We as Christians are called to serve. That's our marching
But have
orders.
you?
Yes.
I'm clear
Yes.
that you personally see
Yes,
that. But
definitely.
you've gotten resistance
Yes.
when you tell
Yes.
people these are our marching
Yes,
orders.
we have to take care of our own first.
Well, it's the same thing. I hear that same thing when I say, there's 1.7 billion people on the planet who have to walk a mile or more to get potable water. And they say, well, we need to take care of America first. I'm like, the poorest American is rich by comparison to more than half the world.
That's so true. And in the Episcopal Church, there are 3 offices of ordained people, and it's priests, deacons, and bishops, okay? The priest gathers the people together and teaches and nurtures, and then it's up to the deacon to say, okay, now we've been nurtured, we've been told what we need to do, and we've been equipped. Now the deacon says, now go do it. And so it's my role as deacon to share and empower the church.
How many deacons in one congregation?
Well, sometimes 2,
But normally one.
1 or 2, and right now there are 2 deacons here. One of our deacons is not well right now, so he's pretty much retired. Bless him. Anyway, so it's the deacon's role to remind the church of the needs of the world, our world here, and to let the people who have the need know that the church cares and wants to help. Now that's the tough part, because sometimes the church doesn't care.
It seems to be part of the human condition
Yes.
that we, even those whom we love, sometimes it's hard to care about their needs.
Yeah. So we have to.
We're very selfish.
So as a deacon, but first as a Christian, I am called as a Christian to meet the needs of the less of these.
The least of these. So you would say that if there's a Christian, someone who professes to be a Christian anyway, and they're saying things like, your difficulty is your fault and your problem, not ours, our collective problem, then it would imply to you that that person hadn't had a genuine conversion.
Well, I don't think, I'd have to say that that person is not reading the gospel the same way I am.
Okay. Okay.
There's just, the gospel is telling you, sir.
It's very explicit.
Yeah. All you have to do is go to Matthew 25 and get your mark. And that's why we continually need to put it out there. We need to remind each other of what we're called to do.
Please tell us the first service project that you remember being involved in your life.
I think I was just a little girl. I'm going to say maybe 11, 12 years old, and I was involved probably in
Girl Scouts.
Girl Scouts or
Brownies.
brownies. And one of our projects was to go and visit a family who didn't have anything and see if we could help them. And I remember vividly going to these people's house and going in and I'll never forget this. And I opened the refrigerator door, and all the only thing that was in the refrigerator was popcorn. And that's all they had. And I knew at that time that we had to do something.
And you did.
And I can't tell you what we did, but I'm sure we did something. But the refrigerator was full of popcorn, and that was all they had.
One of our viewers either didn't grow up with any spiritual tradition, or they were so traumatized by the tradition that they grew up in that they've completely rejected not only it but all. Throw the baby and the bathwater out.
Yeah.
Is there a non-threatening, low commitment level spiritual practice that you can suggest? Now remember, this is someone that may hate religion, okay? There's certainly, saying read the Bible is not going to call to them, okay? But is there something that's non-threatening that you might offer as a way to crack the door open for them, a spiritual practice?
I'm not sure about a spiritual practice, but I believe that the only way people are going to change their thinking or change their attitude is to continue to invite them to become involved. That's happened more than once.
So you're inviting them right now to come and help you in these various organizations we've just discussed.
And it's once you get involved, and what comes to mind is with our food pantry, we had a couple, and the lady is very involved in church, and is just very faithful in being involved in church, but her husband would not step his foot in church. He just thought it was just a big hypocritical problem.
You can see why he might think that.
But what would happen is the lady, Audrey, wanted to work in the food bank, and she did not drive. So he would bring her, and then rather than leave her here, he began to stay with her. And all it really took was him walking into that food pantry office and began to be interacting with these people. And that is where Andy got his spirituality.
Would you accept someone who's not a member of your congregation who called you and said, I want to come and help you pass out food, you'd be glad for that?
Oh, indeed. Indeed.
Could they expect that you're going to just have them pass out food, or that you're going to pound on them about your experience of Jesus?
No, I mean, we're not going to pound on them. In the Episcopal Church, we're not very good pounders.
Okay. I don't know, you seem like a good one to me. I'm going to describe two of our viewers, okay? Hypothetical viewers. One of them is well-to-do. They're educated, they have a good job for a long time. They've never been without in their life. They're busy socially, maybe married with children, maybe not, whatever. But they're busier than a one-armed paper hanger, like you, okay? Except for they do nothing except for serve their own narrow self-interest. And then there's another person who's maybe struggling. Maybe somebody who might live in this neighborhood. And they're struggling. They've lost, they've lost their job a few times. Maybe they're serially unemployed. It's all they can do each day to get dinner on the table. I mean, life is a big struggle for them. Why would each of those people want to serve something other than their own narrow self-interest? You follow my question?
I think so.
You serve something other than your own narrow self-interest. Almost your whole day is spent serving others. Most people don't live that way. And our society tells us that you shouldn't. Right now, our society is telling us, look out for yourself,
Yeah.
screw the other guy. Right?
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much.
Okay. So why should they ignore that advice and make the effort to try and just to go to a food pantry or to go to a homeless shelter or whatever? Why should they serve something other than themselves? Each of those people, the one who's doing well and the one who's not doing well.
Because it's going to give them life.
How so?
And it's going to give them reason to be, because I think that God created us as people that need to give. And if we're not giving, we're gonna just dry up and just die.
And that's true even of the person who's got it rocking and rolling.
Yes, because it's not about what they have for rocking and rolling. It's what's within them. And the same thing is within the rich person that's within the poor person. It's what we're made of. It's the spirit that's within us. And I happen to believe that we all have the Spirit of God within us. We just have to recognize that.
And serving others
Will
open us up to that
will open
in a non-threatening way.
We can begin to unwrap the present.
If I could issue you an ironclad guarantee of success, you will not fail, you have my guarantee of it, of regardless of what you attempt, what project would be your next attempt? You cannot fail.
Probably